Shots fired in Buena Park yesterday to save a hostage at an attempted bank robbery.
And closer to home, no shots fired, but guns drawn on a Chapman student. We'll tell you why.
Coming up on Chapman News, a 2-year FBI chase comes to an end. We've got the full details coming up. You're watching Chapman News.
Hello everyone and welcome to Chapman News. I'm Kim Yuen.
And I'm Amanda Starrantino. We start off today in La Mirada, where local police and the FBI chased down a suspect that has been on the run for 2 years. Matt Prichard has the story.
Double homicide suspect was gunned down by LAPD and FBI agents early Thursday morning in La Mirada.
We were looking for this individual for several months now. We put a felony arrest warrant in the system for him for the double homicide. We've been looking for him for several months. Last night we received information that he was possibly hiding right down the block here in one of these houses. About 8:50 this morning we were taking people out of the house when the double murder suspect ran out the back door and was spotted by our helicopter, which was flying overhead. The suspect jumped onto the roof of a neighbor's house and was pacing back and forth on that roof, refusing to come down.
After an hour of pacing, the suspect reached for a weapon and opened fire on the officers. A police shooting occurred, leaving one La Mirada resident stunned and shaken.
It's about 6 or 7 officers that were shooting at him, and I can't tell you how many rounds. It was something else.
Authorities saying that the suspect was being tracked by the FBI for about 2 years, but today in La Mirada, that chase comes to an end. Reporting from La Mirada, I'm Matt Prichard, Chapman News.
The deceased suspect was wanted for murdering 2 people in East Los Angeles.
And those weren't the only shots fired in the La Mirada area. A local bank in Buena Park was held up yesterday. The FBI SWAT team was called to the scene as a man entered the Seon Bank on the corner of Beach Boulevard and Rosencrantz. The man drew his weapon, demanding that bank patrons leave immediately as he held the bank manager hostage. After a 5-hour standoff, the SWAT team entered the building and opened fire. The suspect was hit and injured while the hostage was retrieved safely. According to officials, there appears to be no motive for the incident, and the suspect did not demand any cash. It is still unclear what the motive may have been.
After arriving on scene, our officers attempted to evacuate the local businesses, and while doing that, we received an additional phone call from inside stating that the suspect was ordering everybody out of the bank other than the bank manager. We haven't determined why he was there or what his demands are.
Chapman student Daniel E. was detained after being held at gunpoint in the Lassinger parking lot. Chapman Public Safety called the City of Orange Police Department after reporting a male student displaying signs of anger. Daniel E. was arrested and held in a psychological evaluation center on a 72-hour hold, but was not taken to jail. Police searched E.'s car and found no illegal substances or drugs.
A disagreement between 2 10-year-old classmates escalated to a fatality in Long Beach last week. 7 students witnessed the fight between Joanna Ramos and an unidentified classmate, which reportedly lasted less than a minute. After returning home, Joanna's mother noticed a decline in her daughter's health and rushed her to the hospital. 10-year-old Joanna Ramos was pronounced dead later that evening. Doctors explained that a punch to the head from another adolescent girl is significant enough to cause a blood clot in the brain. Her death is being investigated as a homicide, but so far no arrests have been made. Ramos would have turned 11 on March 12th.
When we return, Madeline Dodd brings us Washington's latest.
And Chapman students participate in a national competition. We'll tell you all about their campaign.
Nice recovery.
Welcome to the all-new Chapman Radio. With over 100 live DJs, music, talk, and sports 24 hours a day, and content determined entirely by the student on air, Chapman Radio is alternative radio at its finest.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to The Score here, Chapman Radio and ChapmanRadio.com.
And now Chapman Radio is more accessible than ever. You can listen from anywhere in the world on ChapmanRadio.com and also on your iPhone. The station is broadcast on campus in Henley Underground and on the first floor of Arduous Forum.
Yes, I can see you.
Anyone can join, experienced or not, which is what makes college radio so unique. Recently, the all-new Chapman Radio has taken its quality beyond the studio. Anyone can request Chapman Radio to provide a live DJ at any event or party. All this, combined with the most serious DJs, diverse music, and quality show content we've ever had. No time is better to make the all-new Chapman Radio a part of your student life as a listener, or maybe even as a DJ. It's unlike any college radio station you've ever encountered. Chapman Radio, it's your new best friend.
Welcome back. I'm Amanda Starrantino.
And I'm Kim Yuen. You are watching Chapman News. Now it's time for our weekly weather report.
Ladan, how's the nation looking?
Yes, Amanda, let's take a look at the nation's weather. In the East Coast, we're experiencing cloudy skies, whereas we head towards the West Coast, it looks like it's going to be getting a little bit warmer. In the Los Angeles area, looks like the sun will be shining, and those cloudy skies we saw earlier this week will be headed back over to the East Coast. And now from the United States to the city of Orange, we're saying goodbye to the rain and clouds we had earlier last week, welcoming the sunshine. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. For those of you who are planning on hitting the beach this weekend, it looks like you can keep your plans because today's weather is a high of 72 with a low of 45, so make sure to bring a jacket. Following this week, it looks like it'll be sunny for the most part with a high of 83 and a low of 47 for the entire week, with clouds coming later in the week, but it'll still be sunny. That's about it for this week's weather. Make sure to go out and enjoy the sunshine. I'm Ladan Davia, back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Ladan. A leap day winter storm brought severe tornadoes to several Midwest states, leaving thousands of dollars of damage and at least 12 dead. Over 20 tornadoes were spotted across the state, with many reaching an EF4 rating, the second highest rating for a tornado. February had been calm up until Wednesday compared to an above-average January, which saw 95 tornadoes touch down in the month alone. We can only hope that it is not a sign of things to come after a devastating 2011 in which 550 Americans lost their lives in what ended up being the worst tornado death toll since 1925.
Chapman Public Relations and Advertising students are competing in a national competition while fighting childhood obesity. And Tara Skipper shows us how they're doing it.
Orange County kids are powering up and learning healthy habits, thanks to 5 Chapman Public Relations and Advertising students who are competing in the Bateman Case Study Competition presented by the Public Relations Student Society of America, or PRSSA. The organization chose United Way Worldwide as this year's client that student teams nationwide are working with to address the problem of childhood obesity. Chapman's team has risen to the challenge with the Power Up campaign.
We really wanted a title that gave kids the power to make the decision, and that they can have all these temptations and you may be able to eat cookies and candy, but it's your power. You have the power to decide what you're going to eat and what you're going to do.
Garden Grove firefighters and Chapman ROTC members came to Morningside Elementary School in Garden Grove to talk to kids from the Boys and Girls Club after-school program about how being healthy is an important part of their jobs.
In order to do it, we have to be really healthy. And that starts when you're your age.
Other visitors brought in by the Chapman PRSSA team include representatives from the American Heart Association's Jump Rope for Heart program and a healthy food chef. While the program is only lasting 5 days here at Morningside, the students on the PRSSA team are hoping that these healthy habits in these students will last for a lifetime. The winning team will be announced and awarded a $2,500 prize for their PRSSA chapter in May. No matter what the outcome may be, Chapman's team has already succeeded in spreading their message of powering up.
Today I learned to make good choices and be healthy.
Reporting from Garden Grove, I'm Tara Skipper for Chapman News.
Chapman's team received honorable mentions in last year's competition. Here's to hoping that this year will be different.
Amanda, it's been a busy week in politics with the GOP primaries.
Madeline Dodd has the specifics, but first, some tragic news coming out of Afghanistan. Maddie?
Amanda and Kim, tragic indeed, as 2 American soldiers were killed by an Afghan soldier last week, soon after 2 U.S. advisors were murdered inside the Afghan Interior Ministry as an Afghan driver shot them from behind while they were working. Usman Mir has the story.
These are the remains of the scene as a suicide car bomber rammed the gates of a NATO base and airport in Jalalabad. The Taliban have claimed responsibility for these attacks for the revenge of the burning of Muslim holy books at a U.S. military base last week. Protests have sparked across Afghanistan and Pakistan. An appeal for calm was made by President Hamid Karzai. President Obama issued an apology last week for the Quran burning, but that act drew new criticism from his Republican opponents.
To apologize for something that was not an intentional act is something that the President of the United States, in my opinion, should not have done.
The White House insisted that the violence aimed at American troops would not force the U.S. to pull out early. But not all Muslims support the violent protests. At the opening of the Beit al-Wahid Mosque in London, the head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community made it clear that Islam did not permit arbitrary violence or revenge in any form. This is Usman Mir reporting for Chapman News.
A latest report tells us that America is working with Afghanistan to investigate the killings. There's no end in sight between Iran and Syria, and gas prices are already reaching record highs. For the typical driver who pumps 60 gallons a month of regular gasoline, a 50-cent increase could mean an extra expense of $30. If the economic standoff of Iran's nuclear ambitions escalates the military conflict, gas prices could rise another 50 cents a gallon. The idea of a price increase of oil and gas would not help Iran's economic recovery. It would also cause problems for President Obama, who's already being attacked by Republican candidates over gas and overall energy prices. Mitt Romney took home 2 victories in last Tuesday's GOP primaries. Easily sweeping Arizona, Romney grabbed all 29 delegates. Different story in Michigan, the delegate vote was split down the middle between Romney and Santorum. Romney won the popular vote by 3 points.
We didn't win by a lot, but we won by enough, and that's all that counts.
His biggest rival in the race, Rick Santorum, is trying to establish himself as a credible and conservative challenger. After this week's contest, both Romney and Santorum are focusing on the economy as they push ahead.
I have a plan that will restore America's promise through more jobs and less debt and smaller government. President Obama is making the federal government bigger, more burdensome, and bloated. I'll make it simpler, smaller, and smarter, and it's about time for that to happen.
Harder for people to make ends meet because we have a government that is crushing us every single day with more taxes, more regulations, and the idea that they know better than you how to run your life.
As of right now, Mitt Romney is leading the Republican pack in the delegate count, followed by Santorum, Newt Gingrich, and Texas Congressman Ron Paul. Maryland is now the 7th state to allow same-sex marriage. Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley has signed the historic same-sex marriage bill into law.
The way forward is always found through greater respect for the equal rights of all.
Maryland's House bill passed the bill on February 17th by a narrow margin of 71 to 67, in a move some delegates call the most important vote they ever cast. The Senate passed the bill on February 23rd. 6 other states, along with Washington, D.C., recognize same-sex marriages. Kim and Amanda, the California primary is last, starting in the first week of January, and it could be, for the first time in decades, the deciding factor of who wins the nomination.
Wow.
I am really excited for that California primary. Can
Me
it come
too.
fast enough?
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Maddie.
Much more Chapman news on its way. Stay tuned for the best campus sports show and all the Hollywood buzz.
And later, drive-through has a whole new meaning as food trucks take over Orange County.
Coming up in sports, the Clippers were in Sacramento last night trying to end what has been a rough week both on and off the court. Plus, the Panther baseball team is in Texas for a big 3-game set against Trinity. I'll bring you the latest on them when we return. You're watching Chapman News.
This is Chicago, home of the Stanley Cup champion Chicago Blackhawks, and this city loves Chapman News.
Follow your dreams. Chapman University. Chemistry, physics, computational science, biology. Start doing research in your first year. Soar to new heights. The Schmid College of Science at Chapman University. Explore.
Welcome back to Chapman News. I'm Kim Yuen.
And I'm Amanda Starrantino.
Amanda, it's time to hear from our only male member in the show.
Matt Prichard is outnumbered today, but not phased. Matt, what's up in sports this week?
Well, welcome in, sports fans. I'm Matt Prichard. For over a year, the talk in Anaheim has been about an NBA franchise coming to Honda Center. The Sacramento Kings would-be Anaheim Royals seen the likely fit. Now a $391 million new arena deal is in place to keep the Kings in NorCal. A March 6th vote will decide if the team is to remain in Sacramento and end the possibility of the Kings moving to Anaheim or Seattle in the near future. Meanwhile, there's basketball to be played. Chris Paul and the Clippers visiting the Sacramento Kings. Friendly exchange before the game. Third quarter, Kings their own Lob City. Tyreek Evans, the toss to DeMarcus Cousins, throwing it down. Cousins game high 23 points. Later in the quarter, Chris Paul sweet ball fake. Going finesse, finger roll good. Clippers up 9, Paul 22 of his own. Can't show the clips without one of these. Dunks from Blake Griffin, I believe I can fly. And go hammer time. LA rolling, they pull away in the fourth. Williams knocking down the tray. 18 points off the pine for him. Clippers win it 108-100. Tough week for the fan formerly known as Clipper Dale. The super fan of LA, Darryl Bailey, told Wednesday by the Clippers to take Clipper out of his name. He posted the following on his website Wednesday. Quote, yesterday was the hardest day of my life. I felt powerless as a fan. I was stripped of my identity. However, no one can take away my heart and the love I have for my team. Poor Clipper Dale, 15 years supporting the laughingstock of the NBA. Now they are finally good, and their #1 supporter clipped to the curb. Don't worry, Darryl. There is another team in LA. How about the one with 17 championships? Lakers playing host to Minnesota. Kobe Bryant wearing a protective mask, getting hit in the face during the All-Star game. No problem for the masked Mamba. The steal and the slam. Lakers up 13 in the first. Clearly the mask, not an issue. End of the second, the pride of Oregon, Luke Ridenour catches LA napping, cut the deficit to 6 at the half. Second half, all Lakers. Kobe, the spin, right here, the spin, lays it in, baseline. Bryant, 31 points on the night. Lakers roll the T-Wolves 104-85. They play tonight at home against Sacramento. The Anaheim Ducks surging after their abysmal start, but a loss in Colorado Monday night certainly not helping their cause. Nearly every game a must-win the rest of the way. Honda Center Wednesday night, Lindy Roth and the Sabres coming into Anaheim with their own playoff push. Sabres on the power play. Tyler Myers, shot deflected wide off the boards. Derek Roy, the rebound, puts it in. Buffalo up 1. To the second, Sabres power play expiring. Ducks trying to get back to full strength. Not before Brad Boyes redirects the slap shot by Christian Ehrhoff for the goal. 2-0. Third period, same score. Corey Perry gets it to Saku Koivu. Big time save by Ryan Miller. Take another look. Miller just gets his left skate on it. Season high, 43 saves on the night. Sabres go on to win 2-0 the final. Team USA Soccer taking on Italy. International friendly. The Italians have never lost to America. We take you to the 55th minute.
Can he turn and shoot here? Dempsey scores! Clint Dempsey puts the US ahead!
And that is all America would need. Team USA beats the Italians 1-0. Biggest win for OC resident Jurgen Klinsmann since taking over the head job. The Panther baseball team in Texas this weekend for a 3-game set against Trinity. Chapman, losers of 5 of their last 6 games, look to turn things around on the road. They return next Saturday for their matchup against Rutgers Newark. It's going to be a quiet weekend on Chapman's campus as the Panthers find themselves in action all over the nation. Softball finds themselves in Tucson, Arizona, and they'll have their hands full all weekend long. The team will play a doubleheader all 3 days for a total of 6 games over the course of the weekend. The baseball team looks to find their groove in Texas, where the Panthers will face off against Trinity in a 3-game series. The Panthers have lost 4 of their last 5 games. Women's tennis will travel to Claremont this afternoon against Claremont. And for the lone home event of the weekend, the men's tennis team will host Calou on Saturday. So get out there and support. The match starts at 4:30 p.m. And before we let you go, today is the 50th anniversary of NBA legend Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. March 2nd, 1962, Chamberlain's Philadelphia Warriors beat the New York Knicks 169-147. Wilt scoring an NBA record 100 points, a record that may never be broken. It's going to wrap it up for sports. Back to you, ladies.
Thanks, Matt. There's much more Chapman news just around the corner.
Stay tuned for entertainment with Diane.
The Monkees lead singer David Jones has passed away unexpectedly. We'll have that story for you when we come back.
Welcome to the all-new Chapman Radio. With over 100 live DJs, music, talk, and sports 24 hours a day, and content determined entirely by the student on air, Chapman Radio is alternative radio at its finest.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to The Score here, Chapman Radio and ChapmanRadio.com.
And now Chapman Radio is more accessible than ever. You can listen from anywhere in the world on ChapmanRadio.com and also on your iPhone. The station is broadcast on campus in Henley Underground and on the first floor of Arduous Forum. Yes, I can see you. Anyone can join, experienced or not, which is what makes college radio so unique. Recently, the all-new Chapman Radio has taken its quality beyond the studio. Anyone can request Chapman Radio to provide a live DJ at any event or party. All this, combined with the most serious DJs, diverse music, and quality show content we've ever had. No time is better to make the all-new Chapman Radio a part of your student life as a listener, or maybe even as a DJ. It's unlike any college radio station you've ever encountered. Chapman Radio, it's your new best friend.
Welcome back to Chapman News. I'm Amanda Starrantino.
And I'm Kim Yuen. Thanks for staying with us.
We've got Diane Gerstenfeld here with entertainment for this week.
Diane, what do you have for us?
I've got a lot for you guys this week. Sad news to start. A 1960s heartthrob left us too soon. Chapman News sent out Hannah Williams to see how the community is reacting to this tragic loss.
It was a major loss in the music world this week as the 60s pop group The Monkees lost their top banana. Lead singer Davy Jones died of a heart attack early Wednesday at the age of 66. The made-for-TV band was created in 1966 and easily topped the pop charts, making their way into rock and roll history. The group stormed radio and TV airwaves, selling millions of records. Though the Monkees officially lasted only until the early 70s, they reconvened sporadically for decades. For much of that time, Jones also toured as a solo singer-songwriter, one of his last performances being just February 19th in Oklahoma.
I'm very sad. I actually saw them. I didn't see them live perform, but I saw them on TV, and it was like one of the last performances. And he wasn't that old, so it's pretty disheartening.
You know, it's always sad because you're losing people who, you know, did music like more from the heart, I think, than like nowadays it's more about money and things like that.
Jones is also well known for his appearance in a widely popular Brady Bunch episode, which aired in late 1971 and has come to be one of the most rerun television episodes of all time. His talent will be missed, but his music will remain with us, as Chapman students will always continue to monkey around. I'm Hannah Williams, Chapman News.
Jones is survived by his wife and 3 daughters. On a lighter note, Taylor Swift has found a date to the American Country Music Awards, and it's not any of your rumored love interests, but rather high school football player Kevin McGuire, who has battled leukemia. After Kevin's cancer came back for the second time, his older sister Victoria made it her mission to grant her brother's wish to take Taylor Swift to the senior prom. She launched an extensive Facebook campaign, reaching over 100,000 supporters. Taylor caught attention to the event and posted on her Facebook page that she would not be able to attend the prom, but she invited him to her date show to the awards instead. Of course, the 18-year-old accepted. Watch the pair walk down the red carpet on April 3rd. Lady Gaga kicked off her Born This Way Foundation with Oprah's help at Harvard University on Wednesday. The foundation aims to eliminate bullying and promote self-confidence and general well-being for youth. In front of a stage of over 11,000 students and faculty, she preached a message of tolerance and acceptance and individuality.
I can't tell you where I get my nerve from, but I believe that if you have revolutionary potential, you must make the world a better place and use it.
Thank you. Named after her 2011 hit album and single, the Born This Way Foundation will be headed by her mother, Cynthia Germanata. Being well known on Twitter, Mother Monster knows how to spread the word and empower her fans. Gaga promises that a Born This Way bus will follow her around when on tour and will welcome anyone who wants to talk about love, kindness, and acceptance. Last weekend was all about the Oscars, but this weekend's all about Lindsay Lohan. Lohan will be hosting Saturday Night Live for the first time since 2006. She's taking this opportunity as a chance to get back in the public's good graces and make a positive comeback. Lohan states that nothing in her life is off limits for the SNL comedians, so tune in tomorrow to see just how far they'll take it. That's all I've got for you this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Looking for a cheap and fun way to spend your lunch break?
Taylor Neville is down at the OC Fairgrounds, where she is exploring a new way to grab a bite on the go.
OC foodies are celebrating their lunch break with the latest culinary cuisine here at the Food Truck Fair in Costa Mesa. And I'm in the spirit as well with this old-fashioned grilled cheese. Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
Today's Meals on Wheels aren't your typical Roach Coach. In fact, they run the gamut in top-notch good eats.
It's just quick, fast, cheaper than going to sit down in a restaurant, and it's fun just to see other people come out here and, I don't know, interact with each other.
Food trucks today are not only sought out for their affordability, but also for their signature flavors.
We are Bacon Mania, so it's all American food enhanced with America's favorite flavor enhancer, and that's bacon. So all pork belly.
How did this all begin for you? Were you a restaurant before, or how did this start?
Well, I was a tailgater, and I traveled the country. I've been to every NFL stadium, and there's one thing that we really noticed that was across all the food regions in the whole country, and that was bacon as a staple in every single regional food. So we decided what better way to share our experience in our food and our love of food than with bacon.
Unlike most competitive restaurants in Orange County, food trucks embrace their competition in a different way.
We kind of realize here in Orange County that the best way to attract a lot of people to eat off our trucks and to deliver good food is to all kind of group together. So whether that's 6 trucks, 8 trucks, 12 trucks, we try and kind of group together as much as possible.
If you missed last week's food fair, don't worry. The trucks set up shop every Thursday from 11 to 2 in the fairgrounds parking lot. From Costa Mesa, I'm Taylor Neville for Chapman News.
You know, I just went to a food truck yesterday. They are everywhere.
You know, I've never actually been to one,
Really?
but that looked really good. I'm going to have to try it out sometime soon.
You gotta.
Log on to our newly redone website, chapmannews.tv, to see all of our episodes, Chapman Newsies bios, and top headlines.
And make sure you also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/ChapmanNews, or tweet us at Chapman News. or find us on YouTube at youtube.com/Chapman News.
That's all for us today, Panthers. Have a happy March. I'm Amanda Starrantino.
And I'm Kim Yuen. Hope the rest of your day is a good one.